If your ad account and performance were impacted in the last few months, you're not alone. Meta's new algorithm, Andromeda, is changing how ads get delivered. And in this video, I'll show you what Andromeda is and how you can scale with this new algorithm. So the main points of this video will be what Andromeda is and how it works, why your ads stopped scaling, and why you don't find new winning ads, and the two main ways you have to scale again with either increasing volume or improving your ads and adding more diversity, how to structure your account and campaigns, and the creative strategy that is working right now. What's Andromeda? Andromeda is the new creative distribution engine from Meta, and it's part of the Meta's AI ad stack. So the old system from Meta pulled signals like clicks, page likes, and basically ignore the order and timing of those actions. While the new sequence learning model for Meta is basically putting a lot of importance on timestamps and basically on the customer journey and how one event happens after another. It's basically able to understand the pattern between these. And this makes the ad delivery more personalized and effective. So the goal of this is that the algorithm can match the creatives to the right people with more personalization, faster matching, and also less reliance on targeting. Because basically AI will analyze the ads and find the right person for each ad. This also works very well when you have a smaller audience or when you have ads that are targeted to specific personas. You can see here an image from Meta that explains well these two models. Why many brands started to struggling with the new algorithm change in July? We saw starter accounts started to have more issues, and this because the delivery changed. So before Andromeda, what happened is that you uploaded some creatives and Meta found a winner. So most budget went to the winner. So the idea was, we can try more targeted ads, but we're going to find some winning ads. They're going to scale completely the account. So we don't want to be too targeted if we want to scale the account to 1 million a month or more. You can go to specific audiences to have a higher ROAS and everything, but it won't scale as much. But after Andromeda, and it's something we saw like this year in general, but now it's something even more common in all accounts, and we are going more and more in that direction, is that sometimes you still see some creatives dominating, but not as much. And this ad spend is much more distributed between ads. And also Meta is not rewarding, like in the past, a generic messaging and scaling the ads as much. And it's actually rewarding more ads that are more specific. Your ads should speak to specific buyer personas, angles, and awareness levels. And I'll show you how you can do that. So you can't scale anymore with just one ad because Andromeda is distributing the ad spend between more ads. So you have to test more things. And it's not just adding more ads, just quantity, but it's also making sure that you are testing different ads that go to different personas and angles. Because otherwise, what we see happening, and it's happening in a lot of accounts, is that you may have 100 ads. They all look very similar. Maybe you change the visuals, you change the text, the editing, like something, the creator, but it's the same type of message. And it will be counted from Meta as one ad. And so it won't spend much. And Meta will just pick one of those and put the spend there. So you have two main ways now to scale. One is volume. You can put more than 50 creatives a week or even more, depending also on how much you're spending. And a lot of people are doing this also with AI, just trying to do a lot of creatives, trying a lot of things. And doing quantity is good. Like you want to do that, but you also have to be careful that you are testing the right things and you have a good strategy. Oftentimes we see that if you just increase the volume, it doesn't work very well. The best thing you can do is first finding something that works very well and then doubling down on that. And making sure, especially with this new algorithm, then when you double down on that, you don't just do very, very similar ads with small iterations, small variations, but you continue to test something new and some hypotheses in those ads. That the other path is diversity, and that's what we use mainly. With this method, you can just create 10, 20 unique concepts a month, but each one is studied well, and you put a lot of effort in doing high quality ads that are built for a buyer persona, an angle, and an awareness level. And normally these ones can also live longer and can scale more. Then you can combine the two also. So once you find something that works well, you can double down on that and creating more volume. Our approach is constraint basis, very similar to what Hormozy talks about here. So basically, we try to understand, do we need more or better? Do we need more ads or do we need better ads? And advertise to do more or better ads, you also need to try to focus on creative diversity. So Meta can understand these are different ads and they are more, or also to improve your the quality of your ads. And normally to scale, what you need is just more winning ads. All right, that's the main variable. And winning ads, I don't mean like winning ads like small winners in an ABO or something like that. I mean ads become top spender, like the highest spending ad or the second one. How can you do that? You can increase the number of ads you create, or you can increase your win rate, or both. So most brands have an issue because they increase the volume and then they have only 5% or less that are real winners. And if you start to have a very low percentage of win rate, what happens is that you can do 100 times more ads, but the number of winning ads is not increasing fast. Before increasing the number of ads you create, you should also work on your strategy to increase their quality and increase your win rate. We do that by focusing on our creative strategy map, where basically we map the main buyer personas, the main angles, and the awareness levels for each of them. Then we focus on the creative analysis. So basically at least every month, but also more frequently, we analyze the ads, we see what works, and based on that, we don't just do the normal creative analysis, we also update our creative strategy map with basically some insights on what worked, what didn't work, and our hypothesis to see what we want to test next. And maybe we want to double down on a specific persona or a specific angle. And then the other step is the creative diversity. So making sure that we do that a lot with formats. So very different formats, but that's also done with what we see in the creative strategy map and targeting different personas. Another thing that we use to make sure that we are actually doing a good job in terms of win rate and getting new winning ads is tracking very well all numbers. And obviously, if you don't track things well, then you don't know what you need to improve, right? And what we track is what's the ad spend of the month, and also if it increased or not compared to the month before. Obviously, that has to be connected also with the ROAS that you have. And then the ad spend on our creatives, in our case, as an agency. But as a brand, what you want to do is tracking the sources. So you can track the ad spend from your in-house ads versus the ad spend from an agency. If you have multiple strategists, the ad spend from each strategist. So basically, which source is working better in terms of getting ad spend and basically getting more results. The percentage of ad spend from our ads on the total ad spend, and also percentage of ad spend from our ads that are created in the last 3 months on total ad spend, and then the percentage of ad spend from our ads from each batch on total ad spend. So that can become a bit more complex, but you got the idea, where basically we want to understand how well are the ads doing, how good are the ads performing from each source, and are we finding new winners with the last batches? Because if we're not, maybe we started to test something going in a direction that is not the correct one, and we want to change that. So that often happens when we see something decreasing, then we change the strategy a little bit and we take more time to understand what we want to do next. Then how we build creative diversity. So basically we do that by basically dividing in different buyer personas, different angles, different awareness levels, and then different formats. And often we try also to add a unique positioning to the ads. So basically, we try to understand who we communicate to, the persona, then what, so the angle, what we say, and then the awareness level. So what's the, like, basically where is the stage, like what is the stage of this person, how I have to communicate to them, because maybe they are unaware, maybe they are product aware, and depending on that, I will communicate in a different way. And then the format, so how I communicate this message, what's the best way of communicating it. And then often we try to also differentiate the product by adding a unique positioning. And each ad should speak to a different angle of your buyer. That's what works best with the new algorithm, because you don't want to just have generic ads, but you want to speak very specifically to some personas. And obviously you want to find some huge winners, but ideally now you find multiple big winners, and that will help you to scale the ad account and not just one like in the past. So very simply, like this is an example where you have two buyer personas. Each buyer persona, as you can see in the image, has different angles. This is an example for a fat brand. And then you say, this angle worked, this angle didn't work. And then you can add the reason why it worked or didn't work. Another example we have here, we have how we map it internally, where we have the personas. For each one, we have the angles. And then for each angle or pain point or reason to buy, we basically have the awareness levels. And then for each awareness level, we have a way, can be an angle, to communicate that message. That's like a very important part. Then there are some updates in terms of media buying. Now the media buying is doing probably 20% or less of the results in terms of impact. I would say even less. What they say now, this new update, is that dividing each concept in a different ad set is not the best way anymore. So it's better to divide by angle and by some grouping them by some bigger variable instead of just the concept. Just adding 15 to 50 creatives in each ad set, and that will help to get exit learning and just get better results with each ad set. This is something that we are testing currently. We don't see big differences for now. We had some accounts where they had big improvements by moving from one ad set per concept to an ad set with multiple ads, like 15 to 50 ads inside. So that's something you can test, and it's something we are considering transitioning to. And with the accounts where we have a lot of ads, we are starting to consolidate a little bit more and maybe put in 3-4 concepts in each ad set, try to grouping similar concepts. But from our data, this is not something that we see. It's definitely better at the moment, but we are keeping it monitoring. What we see working now is basically testing 10-20 unique concepts per month that are very high quality. And then once you see what works and you find something works, then you want to increase the output and increase the number of ads. Then what will happen is that oftentimes you'll just have a lower win rate. If you want to get more winning ads, you can increase the volume, but will be less efficient. So in that moment, you want to again look at your strategy, improving your ads. And one way of improving the ads is also working on creative diversity and just making sure they are different for Meta, they target different buyer personas, and everything we saw in the creative strategy map. Once you fix that, the win rate increases again, and then you can start to do more ads. And again, this cycle repeats, and you're going to have to fix the win rate again, increase the ads again, and then you scale your ads and you scale your brand. Basically, do on some accounts CBOs with ad set for each concept. For some, we move to ad set for each angle. And we also saw working very well. And I think with this new algorithm, it's going to work always more, having persona-specific angles and mainly, as we mentioned, and also landing pages. So try to create funnels for those angles, and just making sure that everything is coherent, and that improves conversion rate a lot. And something that we see when you hit a ceiling, you may want to have specific landing pages for the best ads for different angles, and then ideally also specific product pages for those angles. And we have a few clients that got to 30-40 million a year with mainly this thing about the more angles and also specific funnels for those angles, because otherwise the new angle with the product page that is more generic, more broad, wasn't working very well. It wasn't allowing them to scale. Then the other thing is the creative strategy map that we mentioned. And in the last thing, and is what we double down a lot as an agency. Obviously, everyone has their method that works better, and we see like brands and agencies finding different things that can work well. For us, what we see working super well is the formats. We basically see that everyone has very similar ads, and for us, the easiest way to win, for now at least, is having very different formats. And so we double down on that, and I'll show you some of the ads that we create and how we are able to use them to communicate better the angles of the ads. This based on our experience managing about $40 million in ad spend this year. So in terms of formats, because that's, as I said, something we are really doubling down on. We see that there are a lot of these type of ads that say, I'm obsessed, it's a game changer, like more like testimonial ad that are really saturated and most people don't believe anymore. And that's a big reason why we see people not achieving the results. And also the fact that they all look very, very similar. And for Meta, even if you test 100 ads, there are maybe like 2 or 3. So you don't have creative diversity, basically. I'll show you an example. So you can see very classic ad saying, I'm obsessed, it's a game changer, and it doesn't work as well as it did a few years ago. So what we do now is focusing more on different formats. We call them stealth creatives. Ads don't look like ads. And basically, as I said, we move from what to communicate to also how to communicate it and what's the best format to communicate that message. So I'll show you a couple of examples. We do podcast ads are working super well. I did another video of what we are doing in terms of podcast ads and how you can test them.
If you're dealing with frequent migraines, there's something your doctor probably hasn't told you. You likely have a metabolic disorder.
I'll show you also a hook for a street interview.
See, this is what I mean. Weird aftertaste.
Okay, but try this one now. But don't look at the wrapper.
This is a protein bar?
15 grams of protein.
This is an educational ad, for example, with an authority figure.
Your skincare routine might be the reason you're aging faster, and here's why.
This a POV ad.
If you're a do-it-yourself car person like me, you need to watch this.
An education ad, authority figure, a street interview. You see this ad with an expert in the supermarket talking about one product.
Most protein bars are full of artificial sweeteners and sugar alcohols that destroy your gut.
Then you have narrator ads like this one.
This is David. He's a successful professional who thinks he knows his net worth.
I've been tracking it for years. It's about $580,000.
Other formats like these that are working pretty well in organic, and we tried on ads and we saw very good results with.
Why is that?
After 40, your hormones make sugar cravings more intense.
I've tried some sugar-free protein bars, but they taste awful.
I understand.
And many other formats like this. Here another one with an expert. And we continue to add new formats. So basically we search what's viral in specific niches for our clients on TikTok, on Instagram. And once we find something that works, then we try to recreate it and test it for several clients in that industry. If you want more insights on this and on how you can test different formats, how you can add creative diversity to your ads and scale by doing this, then you can follow me also on Twitter. I have a lot of guides on this stuff. You can also find some here in the link below. And if you already spend more than 50K a month and you want to scale your e-com brand, you can just book a call with me. We take a look at your ads and we see how we can add creative diversity by adding new formats. I hope that was valuable. And if you have any questions or anything else that you'd like me to show in other videos, then just drop a comment below.